watching. I apologize for not uploading lately. I'm running out of ideas and I have started summer break, but I'm trying to make content for you guys. Anyways, on with the video.
Hey guys, it's me, Brownline12 here. Today on Engines of Norfolk and Western, we are going to be looking at the Class M locomotive, so let's get into it. Initially designed as mainline frame power, 125 Class M 480s were built between 1906 and 1907. Though not revolutionary in design, these locomotives offered greater power and better riding qualities in comparison to the N&W's 280s of the time. They would ultimately prove to be a mainstay of N&W motive power, working in mainline, transfer, switching, and branch line service. Many members of the class would undergo modifications over the years, such as the addition of higher capacity tenders, installation of power reverse gear, superheating, and the replacement of the original Stephenson valve gear with that of the Baker type. Popular in service, crews would come to affectionately nickname the locomotives Mollies, a moniker which stuck until their retirement in the late 1950s. Following the initial success of the Class M's, the N&W would order more 480s of nearly identical design in the form of the M1s in 1907. These differed in their use of Walschaerts valve gear and piston valves in the place of side valves. This design change, however, severely affected the locomotive's performance, largely due to a poorly executed design. The valve center lines being offset from those of the pistons resulted in excess running gear wear and improper valve timing. Unsurprisingly, as older motive power on the N&W would be phased out, the M1s were among the first to go. Design shortcomings would plague the subsequent class of the 480s, the M2s, as well. From their arrival in 1910, issues with poor riding qualities and steaming were apparent. Though utilizing a larger boiler than either the M's or the M1s, the M2s possessed a relatively small heating surface area in the firebox, resulting in considerable difficulty in maintaining steam. In spite of the issues, along with the subsequent unsuccessful modifications, the M2s lasted in service for considerably longer than the M1s, being among the future largest examples of non-articulated free power owned by the N&W. The last examples lasted in service until the late 1950s. When larger locomotives arrived on the N&W, some of the M's were sent to work in switching and transfer service. After World War II, however, the N&W began exploring potential replacements. As many of the M's had begun to show their age, the locomotives also failed to meet spoke abatement laws in many of the cities along the N&W network. In an experiment to address both issues, M2s number 1100 and 1112 were extensively modified between 1947 and 1948, with number 1100 being modified first. The boilers of both locomotives were rebuilt with shorter flues and combustion chambers. These induced draft fans driven by steam turbines were installed, along with mechanical stokers and water level controls. These were added so the locomotives could be left alone for long periods of time and gave rise to the nickname automatic switcher. Both locomotives were also fitted out with mechanical lubrications and modified tenders, providing an increase in water and coal capacity. Though extensive, the experiment ultimately proved to be a short-lived failure. Several issues became apparent shortly after number 1100 re-entered service. The blades of the induced draft fan were quickly eroded by cinders from the locomotive's fire, and relatively soft exhaust from the locomotive lead to smoke and ash, becoming a frequent source of discomfort for crews. In spite of changes to the design with 1112, including decreases in heating surface and boiler pressure, along with the installation of a cinder collector to return cinders to the firebox ahead of the draft fan. Both locomotives were retired in 1951. The issues encountered in the experiment and the advent of more modern motive power in the form of 080 switchers, both required second-hand from the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad and built in the N&W's own Renault shops, did little to prolong the service lives of the already subpar M2s. Two of the Class M's have survived into preservation. Number 475 is preserved in operational condition at the Strasburg Railroad in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Number 433 is on static display outdoors at the head of the Virginia Creeper Trail in Abingdon, Virginia. 3 M2s have also survived into preservation. Number 1134 has been cosmetically restored and is on display at the Railroad Museum of Virginia in Portsmouth, Virginia. Number 1118 is currently under the ownership of the National Railway Historical Society's Renault chapter. Number 1151 is part of the Virginia Museum of Transportation's collection in Renault. Both numbers 1118 and 1151 have yet to be restored from scrapyard condition. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss out on any of my new videos. Next will be the TE1 steam turbine electric locomotive. Anyways, bye-bye!